Hello and welcome. My name is Tracy and this is Tilly. We love to play every day. Yes, we do. We need my shoulders to feel love and life as I play and throw balls and frisbees with her, and to keeping my shoulders healthy and strong. I want to share with you what I do to keep that happening. The first thing is sometimes repetitive patterning gets us into injury and dysfunction. So I need to hydrate my tissue to make it feel alive. So I use melt products. I love the soft ball and the hard ball, especially for my hands. So grab those for today's practice, as well as maybe even a soft roller and a band. So let's get going. And I want you to take your softball and give it a little squeeze from one hand to the other. And notice as you are using this grip strength assessment, if there's any cranky into the elbows, into the shoulders, the wrists, even the hands, maybe they feel a little tender. Just to honor what you are beginning with, to notice change and to really create a routine where you can give yourself some self-care. So I am gonna bring the ball into my eye of my hand and interlace my fingers and tighten up my wiggle. Maybe even sitting on a roller and bringing breath and sensation of that breath into my ribs, maybe even slowing down as I breathe from the side body of my left versus my right. Maybe creating breath into both sides. Notice how my breath even is happening. So that is so important. I'm going to position the ball underneath my thumb pad and maybe even giving it a little weight from my opposite hand and create a shear, compression and movement. And then each of my distal bones of my knuckles, I'm compressing into those knuckles, and maybe even onto the pinky. I'm giving it some compression and movement there. And then I'm gonna take a quick roll up to my elbow, but then I'm gonna use weight to shear the ball down the inside of my arm. I love to roll onto that ulnar bone on the medial side, and then into any portion of my hand that needs love the most. And I'm a little quicker on the upstroke, but a little heavier on the downstroke. I can do this on a table or anywhere that is gonna give me support. And then I'm gonna take that. Sometimes I love to use a roller to support, and I'm using the ball to coax the tissue. And I like to move out and about because so much of our tissue likes to wrap inward. So we want to go the opposite way, remind the ranges of that tissue. And then anywhere that I feel tenderness, maybe adding compression. And then indirectly, maybe moving my wrist maybe even indirectly moving my neck, and being curious as to how amazing that feels, as well as the connection from top to bottom of how my arm connects into my body. I'm going to give some love to the top of my hand, even into the knuckles. I love this. This is like one of my favorites, to really nestle the ball in between the knuckles, and I'm squeezing. And as I'm squeezing, can you invite the humeral head of that long bone of the arm to manifest deep into the socket, maybe practicing isolation of the full arm to spin, maybe even the bottom arm to spin. How can we differentiate in those movements? And then maybe open it up, hitch a ride to the back. Feel that lovely stretch sensation even from the sternum. Maybe even coaxing the heel of my hand to open up the tissue to help it. The gift of touch. And then anywhere that feels good, I'm going to linger a little longer, using that amazing breath of yours to create some movement into the neck. And I'm going to grab it actively, spin it, open it, hitch a ride, maybe looking opposite, maybe sensing how I can create some lumbar back curve as I find my breath, even into the pinky, and gripping, squeezing, coaxing. Hitch that ride. Find that lumbar back curve, and then maybe even compress back here, keeping the openness of the collarbone, and then open it out, reach it out, that tension. Maybe floss those nerves, and of course, finish off with some friction. Whee! Runaway ball. Top of the hand. Give it that yummy, disorganized rolling to create some life and love. Feel that difference. It's like I have a party going on the side that I've just treated, and a little quiet on the side that hasn't felt the love yet. So I'm gonna make it happen, starting right in that eye of the hand. I like to tent my fingers. I like to use the tips of my fingers to constantly be grabbing, working into the thumb pad. Slowing down, making sure you're breathing. Anywhere that needs it to love. I'm on my pinky side pad and just organically moving, maybe even in between my thumb pad and my pinky pad. Feeling the love. We use our hands for everything, and we don't give it right back. We don't give it the attention that it so deserves. Slowing down anytime that you have just a little tender, meet that barrier and take a long pass. I want to be on the inside where I'm not flubbing. Don't forget to breathe. You can see the ball. You know, there's the ligament that flubs over, but you want to be on the inside edge if you're creating that drunk drive down the inside edge of the forearm. You want to be straight and narrow always. No drunk driving allowed. It's a cleaner pass. I even felt like a little feedback into the shoulder itself. I love that when I wake up other nerves. Bringing it on up. Taking a pause on the leg right where this tissue meets. Indirectly moving and grooving. Little knuckle. Squeeze it on in. Flip it on out. Hitch that rod. Maybe even open up that pinky side too. And notice how the ribs act in rotation. If you broaden the chest to move forward, collarbones to open, you get more space for that movement of the rib cage. Squeezing, flipping, opening. So valued. But only when something happens or they're not feeling love do we take care of it. But why not? Like we brush our teeth every day, brush our tissue in the upper back and front of the back, chest. Nice, quick. Keep your balls, ladies and gentlemen, by your workstations, in your fitness routine. I'm going to go back to where I started and welcome that breath. Don't forget to breathe. And then if I were to give it that grip strength again, easy peasy, nice and easy. It's just nice and fluid and yummy. So let's create some work and hydration to our upper back. I'm going to start in a standing position. Grab your band and then notice your feet. And I want you to press your heels away with the big toe down. Maybe separating or getting a nice firm grip. I'm going to bend my knees and feel the feet active. Roll those shoulders. And then open it up. Keep the shoulders nice and deep in the hips, in the shoulders rather. Add that reach. Open it up. And then really bend. Make the wrists nice and flush with the forearm. Coming down to the sternum. And rebend, active in those feet. And then sense the shoulders kind of kissing the spine. And even as I lengthen, I'm going to wrap those triceps, really spin the pits of the elbow points to feel inside. Adding lift, adding length, and rebend. And maybe spinning it on out. Notice how we move into the ribs themselves as we move to the left and move to the right. Keep active in the feet. Any way that you wish to spin Notice how amazing it feels, pushing into the outside edge of the heels, big toes, active in that reach. I want you to really gently pull and sense maybe even the underside of the armpits working as you're bringing on down. And then we're going to spin into the bowel mounds of the footprint, and then add this push of the ball mound in the back, the heel of the front, and then reach. And then pull it on in and open it out. Any way that you need to. Coming back to center, spin it around. How do we use those ribs and feeling that wrap and spin it around? I'm going to lower down to the sternum, reaching, opening, rebending my elbows, pushing with the ball mound of the foot, and notice your extension of your back and flexion. Of course, we want extension. Push that heel energetically forward and reach, pulling on in, reaching on up, keeping the head of the long bone deep into the socket, reach it on up, and then to back, reaching, pushing, opening. One last time, pull it on in. And as we pull it on in, notice if you can wrap those elbows so we don't round. Moving like fluid all throughout. And we're going to unlace the band. I'm going to step with my opposite foot. And then notice if I just position the band to the point of the hip, that landmark bone, and then just gather that to hold. And I'm going to step back, and I'm going to just work again the elbow onto that front of the hip bone if it reaches. If it doesn't, if your bones are a little shorter, that's okay. But see if you can hitch a ride with that thumb back to create external and internal rotation. How do we get the elbow to be a little bit more forward than the hip, if that's possible? And then we're reaching, and I want you to use the opposite hand to bind on the sacrum and get a little perky into your hips, pushing the footprints away. And we're just holding. You should feel vibrant sensation in the abs. Chest opens, collarbones widen for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's take flight, pushing through. See if you can add that balance. Maybe reaching and then pulling out and in. Keeping that tension, press it through, take flight. Reaching and landing. Maybe even using those long bones to help you land into the arches, landing into the ball mound, and then use those long bones, elbow comes through. One more, add that reach, take flight, keeping that healthiest of lumbar back curves, and then let's lift for 4, 3, each and every time landing on that long bone. 2 and 1. And then maybe switching sides, adding that length into maybe into a wide angle, bent knee wide angle. And come to the front, switching feet. And wherever that hip bone is, I'm going to gather. And then maybe even adjusting my opposite hand to get that front of the arm to manifest back versus rounding. And then I'm growing it, digging into the ball mound of the foot, and then seeing about my opening up the door, if you will, and closing it. And of course, we want to hold it open with the elbow maybe more narrow than the wrist. And we're reaching out, and see if you can actively be in that determination area as you reach. And I want more energy into the feet. Heel is pressing away, ball mound is pushing on down. Lengthen your spine, grow it tall for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it on in. And then as we extend on out, see if you can take flight. Land it. And lift it. And if that lift is not as plentiful, you can even drag that foot to give you feedback. Lifting. Feeling you know who, doing you know what, you know where. One more, add that lift off. Moving a little faster, here we go. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Give me 2 more, you've got this. Switch it, should need a little party break. Adding that length, bent knee, wide angle. Reaching, opening, feeling the suppleness in your lumbar back space. Good stuff. And then if we were to reassess how we're moving, is it more with easement? You add that energy of the feet. We forget about using our feet. We forget about actively using those grounding reflexes. So needed, so critical. Should just feel good each and every time we move, switching sides. Open it. Oh yeah. Make it come to life. Stick it in. Stick it deep. Do you feel the love? Okay. So coming into quadruped. Wrists are directly underneath the shoulders, as well as the knees directly underneath our hips. And I'm going to use the fingertips to tent. So I'm energetically pulling back as I spin my arm bones. The pits of the elbows are looking towards you. And I want your pits looking towards me. And maybe give some shoulder rolls. Notice if you're having any crunching and munching. Ideally, it should be silent if it's well lubricated. And I want you to manifest the chest to move forward as you pull back those fingers. Sense what that feels like. And then pressing down, hover the knees. Maybe a little wavering in the knees, little energy in there of reception to the hips, moving into down dog, but not changing anything into the arms. Shake out the neck, make sure you're not using it. Use your long bones here to roll into the ball mounds of the footprints as the knees hover, and then gently land. We haven't lost connection. Just like our feet, we want to be active throughout, using those fingertips, pulling back, hovering. Abs are enjoying the love of working down dog. Once you're at the top, it should feel like easy peasy, nice and easy. But what happens if that doesn't feel right? How can we get more valuable timing? I have a low back space, and maybe it's me turning what I look like. So as I push down, I have a low back space, and I'm not really losing my space. A lot of times we go into down dog and we lose our space, but how can we keep space to find more movements? Use the arches of your feet. Use the active sensation of your body parts, hands and feet pressing into the floor. Feel the core lifting and lowering. So we're going to hold it right here. I want you to step it back into your plank, and notice that if you lift up your toes, your chest is directly in between the thumbprints, but we haven't changed. So we're not doing this and we're not doing this. We want suppleness as we roll and lift. Notice your side plank, gripping all 5 fingers. Don't forget about that gription. And then pick up your side body to help open up the top. And then notice as if you bend the knee, that you're still active throughout, and then lift on up. Adding serratus, those determination muscles as I drop down and lift up. Drop it down and lifting up. Coming into plank. Rolling. Find your cow. Actively setting up for something bigger. Hold your plank. And then turning to your opposite. Reaching, gripping. And even if you need to use your opposite hand on the rotator cuff itself, see what that feels like. And we're holding for 5, 4. Little neuroquiver always wakes it up. And then rebending, but we're still in the underside. And lifting. Do it again. Bending and extending. Do it. Bending and extending. One more. Bending and extending. Hand plants, both hands plant. Hold that plank. And then big toes together. Forearms come down. Roll those shoulders. How does that feel? Maybe sway to the right, sway to the left. So let's see if we can make that feel better. Even if you were modified and dropping the bottom knee, that's okay too. Again, I'm using it. So even before I begin, I want to just tune in to where my back feels, my upper back feels, particularly my shoulder blades feel. Do they feel even in the way that the sense is presenting itself to the floor? Notice what your low back space feels like. Is it way lifted beyond your belly? Is it equal from right to left? How are your hips to the floor? How are those hamstrings to the floor? Using that breath. And take a quick snapshot as to what you felt. And we're going to give some love. I'm going to support my hands behind my skull and roll the shoulders. Make sure the shoulders are down and low. And open up your collarbones. Open up your chest. Float the elbows out to reach. Notice if they float equally, or do you have this tension not happening? Find your breath. Notice how your feet feel. Push the heels energetically away, including the big toe. And then motion the elbows to narrow and really feel the shoulder blades manifesting to the roller. And the bootylicious is down into the floor. So your low back is being felt. And then I want you to notice your footprints once again and putting more desire into the foot. One foot, I'm doing my left, it could be your right. And then opening, but keep active in that heel pushing away. Opening up the elbows, inviting the shoulders down the back by that bro-bra line. And then bring it on in. Connecting, switching, maybe opening, more of a stretch, both heels press. Oh, energetically away, elbows reach. And then give that those shoulders a roll, invite the shoulders down the back. And I'm switching. Heel is energetically pushing away. Opposite heel is lifted. Bootylicious is down. Using that breath, feel the core light up. And energetically reach now the elbows, points to the corners of the room, to the left and the right. Keep active in that footprint. Heel is energetic, pushing away. Narrow the knee if you're like slumping the heel out. That's what my leg wanted to do. And then inviting the elbows back in. Both feet actively press away. Using that breath. Maybe even getting even more length into the mid-back. But I'm active in my breath. I'm feeling the core loading and engaging. And then rebending. Nice job. Let's pedal out those elbows and mosey the roller down the upper back, mid back. Go to where you need the most. Maybe a half back position and like hands on a clock. Head is heavy in the skull. Adding that reach. Opening it and switching directions. Reaching around. And using that breath, open it up. Using it, feeling it, embracing it. Pedaling out those elbows. half back position. How do I take it around without leading with the head? Lead with the sternum. Let the heart space lead the way. Take a pause. Add that breath. Maybe hook those thumbs. Add that reach if that's right for you in your body. Breathing on in. Exhale it out. Support the hands behind the skull. We're rinsing, feeling the press of the heels to lengthen. Maybe landing the tuchus, adding that lift. Rebending, relanding. And rinse it down, lengthen your spine. And as that tuchus lands, see if you can come into that VC. And do you feel it here working first? One more. Breathing on out. Adding that, shoulders down, feeling determined, and maybe even spinning. 4, 3, Dorothy clip those heels, 2, and 1. And I'm just taking a pause at the back of my skull. Maybe giving it a neck release. I am more on the firmness of my skull as I circle it out. Drawing circles with my nose, or maybe smelling something deliciously yummy in the air. Take that pause and switch to the other side. Taking a breath. We don't breathe enough. Just breathe. So critical, and honor your assess. Do you feel it? Even if you can't put your finger on it, it should feel deliciously yummier in the way that you're landing. And your bones feel, maybe even being on that bra line versus into the upper neck. Low back space is feeling a little bit more resiliently wonderful, and that healthiest of arch support that your body needs, and maybe even your hips ironically feel more even on the butt cheeks with the hamstrings landing. What you can do for one portion of the body, and how, if you have the hydration component in the rest of the body, that things happen there too. So amazing. So let's come back into that quadruped position, gripping all 10 fingers back, spin those arm bones, and energetically pull the fingertips back to broaden the collarbones, let the chest lead the way. So here I am, cow, and holding cow. I'm going to step my footprints back. I'm just changing the leg position, but my hips are not changing. Holding plank. Gripping all 10 fingers. Hold that plank for 10, 9. Oh, you see those heels? 8, 7. Feel those neuro quivers here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch, take a side. Left hand down, add that reach. Gripping all 5 fingers, take a bird's eye view. Make sure your bones are stacked for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're dropping it, and we're lifting it, dropping it, and lifting it. Holding your own body weight is so critical for healthy living and lots of fetch, ball throwing. Find your plank. If you need to take a pause, go for it. Spin those arm bones. Notice how it is even more settled, deeper. Add that lift and length. Gripping all 5 fingers, take a bird's eye view. Adjust your sails as needed. Maybe you're getting a little healthier of a neuro quiver. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're dropping. And we're lifting. Don't forget to breathe. Dropping, and we're lifting. Feeling it under those determination muscles. One more. Awesome sauce. Here we go. Pump it. 4, 3. Each and every time. 2 and 1. Bringing it back to plank. Gripping, wrapping. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and let's roll those long bones, big toes together. Find your child's pose, maybe taking your round roller here. And I am doing this with strength. So I need that tension and integrity in my child's pose. So I'm kind of even spinning my leg bones in. I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of opens up space in my hips. I'm in those longest of reaches, feeling the core connect. And then as I land, lengthening. So as much as I'm reaching long, my hips are open, so my spine has a space to grow length. And then as I travel through, suction cup those arm bones first into the sockets to lift you up. Let's try that again. At that lift, at that length. Suction cup them. And I'm going to just move that out a little longer. Got long arms, energized, tension into the hip stabilizers at that length. Maybe add a little rumble to the left, rumble to the right. Let those ribs move here. So we are moving and grooving to support the bicep on the ear. Delete. Let's sit on the band itself. So we're going to do an inner thigh lift first, and then we're going to do some side arm, lying arm fans. So here I am, and make sure you're breathing. Allow the hips to, just like the child's pose, feel how they're open, kind of using that tension in the hips, but it's actually lighter in the knee. My lower leg is supported, chest is open, and then I am flexing at my ankle, lifting my heel, and then getting the heel to lift up first. So my big toe is down, open up the chest, find your breath in your core. If you're using too much of your top knee, unload it with the tented fingers and hang and hold, maybe a little higher for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Feel that little magic of jump. 4, 3 of the inner thigh. 2, 1. Drive it down with the big toe, lifting up the heel. Maybe reaching a little bit more forward, but the bootylicious is going back. Dropping and lifting. Don't forget to breathe. Give me 2 more. Dropping and lifting. Staying out of the neck always. And 1 more. Feel the inner thigh come to life on the bottom. And here's that pump. Here's that pause for 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe a little higher. Sticking out the bootylicious. Getting a little higher, a little higher. Let it fatigue. I know it. I know it. I know you feel that at home too. And release it. And I'm just gonna give a little inner glide and shear, a little compression, a little movement, keep it a little bit more angled. Maybe bend and extend the knee. And then rinse. Take a pause and breathe. All right. So I'm kind of coming down, like playing that Broadway claw game. And wherever it lands, I'm holding. You gonna help me? Oh yeah, she's such a big help. And I want you to spin that elbow bone to narrow and reach out. You should sense it on the back body. Same rules apply with your setup for your butt to move on back, and we're just hanging and holding. You should feel that in the medial delt in a healthy way for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Yes, you can. 2, 1. And we're dropping. And we're lifting. And we're dropping. And we're lifting. Is that your spot? And we're dropping. And we're lifting. One more. Keeping tension, keeping that arm bone suction cupped, and pump it for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let that go. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. You're a good girl. And float it. You're a sweet girl. So grateful for our 4-legged babies, right? So we can play more ball fun. So even before I switch sides, it just feels like in a healthy way, the side that was lifted up towards the sky is enjoying the love. All right, here we go. Letting your hips feel support on top of the band, so it's not going anywhere. Excuse me. Use your bicep like a pillow. I love work that works the inner thigh. It really allows my rooted core to manifest its limelight. And that's what we need. We need the body or nervous system to know our center of gravity means business, and being able to stabilize before we even mobilize. So same rules apply. Bootylicious is out and about. You should sweet girl. Can you get me your ball? We'll play fetch. We'll get your ball. And I'm going to lift up my bottom leg, but not keep tuned into. I feel love. Yes, can you lay down, good girl? Yeah, can you lay down, good girl? Sticking out your butt. Lifting up your heel. And we're hanging and holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Big toe down, heel is lifted for 3, 2, 1. Lifting up from leading with the heel, dropping with the big toe, leading up the heel, dropping with the big toe. Don't forget to breathe. Sticking out the butt, bootylicious. Letting it keep its tension in those hip rotators. Maybe a little neuro quiver. Get that neuro quiver. Forgot to take a pause. Let's hold it for 10, 9, 8. Spin that leg bone so the heel is lifted. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now lift and lower. 2, 1. Live it in the moment. Pump it up for 4. Take out that pause. If it feels right for you. 2, letting the inside edges of that knee work. And 1. Oh, and let that go. I'm just going to slightly angle, pushing demand to the ball of the foot. Bending, extending. Anywhere that I need it the most. Maybe even using my hand to support it. Oh, lucky me, I have a block here. You don't use those big toes enough. Healthy hips, healthy use of that big toe. And we're bringing it back to where we began and take a long pass. Good thing I have the lid on my green smoothie. Yes, eating healthy too and keeping inflammation out of your life is a good thing. It's an awesome thing because you want to feel good every day. So just as much as I treat, self-care for my body, it's all you are what you eat. We're going to take that grab on wherever my hand lands and gathers. I'm going to keep that tension and then spin my elbow bone, but keep necessarily keeping the upper back to those upper shoulder blades to feel very secure on the back body. And we're maybe reaching out, but keep the security of that shoulder blade, that scapula to be flat. Curves are in the low back, curves are in the hips for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're dropping, and we're lifting, dropping, and we're lifting, dropping, and lifting. One more. And here's that pump. Take out the pause for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And make it float. Feel lightness and love. Come to your back. Notice what you feel. Palms face up. Wow. Where are those shoulder blades now? So light. Hopefully you feel so amazingly light in your upper back, and everything is really manifesting in the middle of your body. One more thing that I want to do is creating some support again into your back. A lot of times when we row, and I see this all at the gym, we start with a rounded back and we start rowing, and this shoulder blade is not where it needs to be. So either with weights or maybe with your performance roller, I am going to get a weight. Now that I have the space. So I want all those rules apply as we're using our weight, and we're wrapping the elbow into narrow and feeling the openness of the collarbone, pushing into the ball mount of the foot, heel is pressing away, and we're dropping, but we're not losing that back body to stay supportive. 8. Don't forget to breathe. 6. And you could do this with water bottles at home. It doesn't necessarily need to be anything heavy. 2. Chest stays open. And 1. And let's pick up the pace. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, little love, and 1. Awesome sauce. Every day, do something different that creates more of a vibrant, confident you. So here we are, using my feet. Not even gonna move before I feel really settled and engaged into my feet as well as my hips. So here we are. Let's do this. Maybe growing a little taller. Bringing it back. Bringing it back. Maybe one a little bit more challenging than the other. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's pick up the pace. That's right for you. If you are crunching or any auditory sounds, my recommendation is to find the magic in your holds for 5, 4, 3, 2, staying vibrant and strong on 1. Push through your heels, active into your footprint. Feel the suppleness of your low back curve as you're opening. Dorothy, clip those heels. And then maybe squeeze and pull back. Add that lift off. Feel the stretch. Maybe coming to your chest. Keeping the shoulders down. Active in those heels. Big toes together. Reaching, scooping. Maybe a little neuro quiver there. Sweeping down. Bending. Heels are active, big toes active, extending. Pressing out and about. Lifting on up. Everything working together as one. How's that feel in your body? Don't lose it. Get rid of the weight if that's not right for you. Switching to your performance roller is okie dokie too. Crawl before you walk. Walk before you run. But before all, hydrate. One more. Grab it. Squeeze it. Open it. Press it down to get up. And maybe hold at the top. Bend, extend. Maybe if that feels right in your triceps, if you're making sounds, hold. Find that magic in the hold. For 5, 4, 3. Don't forget to breathe. 2. Just breathe. 1 bonus. Awesome. And more importantly, if you were to kind of reassess each and every time, how does your workout give back to you in your amazing, vibrant, wonderful body? So I feel awesome in my upper body. I just want to finish it off with something magical and special in the lower body. I'm going to hydrate the hips. You can use a half roller. I love the half roller. It's actually my favorite roller. I'm going to manifest my back of the triceps, press down, heels push away. Bootylicious is in anterior tilt, meaning it's on the opposite side of the roller. But notice your feet here. I'm pushing away. Using that breath. Being curious as to your low back curve. There it is. As soon as I find those neuro quivers, life is good. It's where your nervous system is trying to cheat, trying to create compensation, but your reflexes are not allowing it. So awesome. And maybe putting more energy into my triceps, removing the roller, and then just mini bridging, holding, manifesting the heels to push away. Chest stays open for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm just going to drop a little, but not change the pelvis position as I push my heels energetically away. Keeping healthy low back space. Give me 2 more. And taking out the pause. Here it is for 4, 3, putting more demand in those feet. 2 and 1. Land it. Now extend it. Oh yeah. Do you feel it? Do you feel the love? Hamstrings connected. Both butt cheeks are connected off the tailbone. Low back space is really nestled into all the lumbar back curve, maybe even deeper. And then you just have this life and love happening with your breath because you can breathe a little bit better. Collarbones are open. Chest is open. Nervous system knows exactly where your center of gravity is. Thank you so much for joining. And above all, don't forget to breathe. Namaste. Have a wonderful day. Bye. Until next time. You ready? You ready? Ready to play ball? Go get your ball. Go get it. Go get it.